Welcome to Coffee Having number 2. This is part 2 about the Roe v. Wade thing. So, if you saw the last video, I had to break out of here like a bat out of hell. Okay? There was almost a malfunction in the junction. And as you can see, oh no, I am not wearing the dark pants. So, that should tell you what the hell almost just happened. So, that being said, I don't remember where I left off at, but I am going to say this. Watch your asses, people. And this new toothpaste I can't rinse out. So, I should have used the mouthwash first, but I didn't. But, this dentist recommended. So, I have really bad gag reflex also. I know. Too much information. So sorry. I don't tell you guys lies, man. That's part of being a truthful person. Rinse off this toothbrush. Hopefully get rid of all the bacteria. You should probably always rinse off your toothbrush after use, instead of letting it collect bacteria or anything. You know, I'm probably going to use my staring at brush for a couple of more days, at least until Monday, just to make sure that nothing goes wrong and that I keep my teeth. There's still a black spot in there. What? Leave that motherfucker alone. I know. Now I gotta rinse my toothbrush off again. Bacteria and all. And then we're gonna get back to business, because I really don't know where I left off, because I didn't want to shit on myself. So, totally wasn't gonna let that happen. You know, it can happen to somebody else, but it's not happening to me. Not on my watch. Anyway, the spit's going in there. Yeah. Just so did you understand? Okay. So we were on Roe v. Wade. I'm going to give you my opinion and only my opinion and my thoughts. You don't have to like them. But, you know, somebody came across my TikTok with the Roe v. Wade thing. And it showed the Supreme Court justices. And it had 2 women on there, because the black woman hasn't been sworn in yet. I'm going to tell you right now, and you're going to get mad, and I don't give a fuck. This is my YouTube channel. Again, I mean this with the utmost respect to everybody here watching it. But I'm going to say this, I'm probably going to lose some followers. Might gain some followers because, yeah, I try to tell the truth. I thought it was hair, it wasn't hair. I guess it was a particle that the toothbrush must have missed. Uh-oh. But it wasn't a tooth, so we're good. Okay, this is my opinion. This is only my opinion. There may be some facts to it. There may be some truth to it. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. But this is the way I feel about Roe v. Wade. I think it should stay legal. A woman's right to choose is the most important right that a woman has. Hear me out. I have 5 sisters. If either one of them was sexually assaulted, it would take an army to stop me and the men that they procreated with, to stop us from permanently unaliving whoever did whatever, especially if they were conscious and remember this motherfucker's face. No. Now, a lot of people aren't going to agree with that. I strongly believe that rape is the worst crime imaginable. Rape is far worse than murder because when you kill someone, it's done. When you rape someone, that rape victim has to live with that shit every day until the end of time. And that is a torture beyond imagination. Alright? And because men, for the most part, unless you go to prison and fuck up, we're never going to experience that shit. Unless you were a little Catholic boy that was molested by your preacher. Now, I'm not saying Catholics are the only ones to do it. There's a couple of Baptists that have done it. There's probably a couple of Christians that have done it. No religious figure is safe because a lot of religious figures have done that shit and have gotten away with it or have been moved to other facilities where they could do the shit again instead of getting jail time. And I was kind of upset, but a lot of the victims come back and murder the priest, which I consider justifiable homicide, but the government in the world does not. You know, you have to teach your kids, you know, this is a good touch, this is a bad touch. But you also, if you're going to sign your kid up to be doing anything with the church, you want to be there. If you don't want to be there, don't sign your kid up for that shit. And it's not like they don't get molested in sports and stuff like that, because they can get molested by their coach. They can get molested by a teacher. They can get hurt by somebody that they know. You know, I learned that in school. Most victims of sexual assault or child molestation are molested by someone that they know. Let that sink in for a second. You have a daughter. She's 10 years old. She's a twisted, sick uncle who thinks that she's a grown-ass woman. He decides he wants to take her virginity. He tells your daughter that if she tells anybody, she's gonna watch him kill her parents. Alright? Learned this in school now. Now, you have a girlfriend, you have a wife, you have a daughter. Any one of those 3 people can be sexually assaulted by your best friend, their brother, their uncle, some stranger down the street. Which one of them things you're more likely to think that they'll probably get assaulted by would probably be one of their uncles or their family members when it comes to molestation. There have been women who have been molested since they were 6 years old. They never tell anybody until they got to the age where it's possible they get pregnant, so the molestation stops. I think that shit over. And if said woman should get pregnant by her crazy uncle or Billy Bob the bum down the street, and y'all think that she should carry this baby to term. Why don't you think about this? See, everybody who's pro-life, take a knee. Take a knee. Put yourself in the shoes of a rape victim. A 10-year-old rape victim. Because girls can start getting pregnant between the ages of 8 and 24. You may not know that because you probably don't read and you don't have a uterus, so you don't know. Some girls get their period as old as 8 years old. Or as young as 8 years old. 9 times out of 10, average girl, 12, 13, somewhere in there. But it is possible for a young lady of 8 years old to be pregnant by some psychopathic bastard down the street. and look me in my face and tell me why I should let my 8-year-old niece, or my 8-year-old daughter if I had one, carry this abomination to term when she's 8 years old. She shouldn't even be considering sex. Pokemon, Pikachu, video games, that kind of shit is what 8-year-old girls should be doing. Barbie dolls, teen Facebook, that kind of shit. But as far as her walking down the street one day, coming home, I'm at work. Her parents are at work. You are at work. And Billy Bob the Bum down the street thinks your teenage daughter or your 8-year-old daughter who's coming home from school by herself looks good. Looks sexy. He knows she's a virgin because she's a fucking child. He doesn't give a fuck. But you should. So how could you dare? Oh, y'all want to offer up adoption. Y'all want to offer up adoption. So an 8-year-old girl should have a baby and then give it up to adoption because she was the victim. She was violated, but y'all think that's okay. I don't think that's okay. So let's say my 8-year-old niece gets molested and I kill the molester. I get 70 years of life, but that motherfucker will never see another goddamn daylight. Child gets aborted, I'm in prison for life. Worth it. You might not think it ain't worth it because here's how this is going to work. I want everybody to take a knee. You pro-lifers, take a knee. You pro-choicers, you can stand behind me or stand beside me, but don't get in my way because I will blow your ass over. If you are not a woman, you don't wake up in the morning wondering, am I going to be safe when I go to work today? Is guy in cubicle 4 going to be stuck working late with me tonight? Is he a good guy? Is he going to walk me to my car? Or worse, is he going to walk me to my car and then assault me as he assaults me in my car? See, we men, we don't think about shit like that. We don't have to. We men, we think like this. Well, good night, y'all. Going home. Oh, me and the guy in cubicle 12, we ain't getting along. Oh, he left 10 minutes ago. I see. Now, wise men say, he left 10 minutes ago. So when I get to that parking lot, and I know me and this motherfucker ain't liking each other, we beefing. My eyes is on the swivel. Because this motherfucker might pick the time that we clock out to do something stupid. And if I beat his ass halfway to death, I'm the bad guy. But I'm walking to my car. He's attacking me because we beefing over some computer components that he didn't like the way I ordered it or how I hooked it up. So now he wants to whoop my ass. But I'm the bad guy because I break both of his knees and his elbows and leave him there, lying on the ground. I don't kick him while he's down. I just leave him there. I call the cops. I can wait for the cops to show up, but they still can go to my house, so I might as well just wait. But let's say I just leave him there. No, that's assault. Being that I'm a martial artist, they'll probably say it's attempted murder. Because I left the scene, that adds another charge. Now imagine me being a rapist and beating the woman from cubicle 3 at my job because she kept saying no when I asked her for a date. There's a reason why a lot of companies have no fraternization rules. But there's loopholes in fraternization rules because shit happens. And you can't help who you fall in love with. So which one of y'all going to give up your job to be with the other one? And then what if it doesn't work out? Now you're jobless. You see what I'm saying? So there's rules about fraternization rules. The rule is simple. You can fraternize with each other off the property, outside of work, fine. But while you're working for the company, no. We ain't having that. Now, this generally only works inside corporations. This doesn't work in like events and shit. Like, say you're a wrestler or an actor or some shit like that. Don't have any of that because 9 times out of 10, you know you're acting. You're going to go home and she's going to go home. Now, if y'all choose to hook up after that because y'all like each other's chemistry and shit, we know certain actors have had relationships formed on set and became famous couples. Just saying. So, it does happen. But when you are in the regular world, lots of jobs do not play that fraternization shit because they don't want that shit on the job. They don't want that shit anywhere near their job. And I know you're all thinking, what the fuck does this have to do with Roe v. Wade? It has everything to do with Roe v. Wade. Because let's say Mary Beth don't like me, but I'm infatuated with Mary Beth. I follow Mary Beth everywhere. When she's at the cooler, I'm at the cooler. I schedule my breaks with her breaks, just so I can fucking stalk her and follow her and talk to her. But Mary Beth gives me the cold shoulder. Mary Beth has told me in very peaceful and nice ways to go fuck myself because she's not interested. And she's pointed this shit out 20,000 times. It's like, look, please stop bothering me. I got a ring, I got a boyfriend. And even if Mary Beth don't have a boyfriend, the second that she says, I'm not interested, you're going to have to cut your losses and run. I got to cut my losses and run. It takes a little while to fall out of love with somebody because it's easier to fall in love with someone than it is to fall out of love with someone. I understand how that works. But you also have to take no for an answer. Now, if Mary Beth ain't married, Mary Beth's a liar, I still have to take no for an answer because she's just not interested. But see, here's the thing. Because Mary Beth didn't give me a chance, my ego is hurt. My pride is hurt. And more importantly, I want revenge. So, best way to get revenge on Mary Beth? Dick her down in the parking lot against her permission. Mary Beth too scared to tell anybody because Mary Beth just got the job. I've been there for 7 years. You think they're going to believe Mary Beth over me? Fuck no, they're not going to believe Mary Beth over me. Mary Beth is going to want to quit her job because she has to see me every day after I've raped her ass. You see where we're going? Mary Beth finds out she's knocked up. But she doesn't find out until 3 to 5 weeks later because she's been spotting. Mary Beth has two options. Mary Beth can get an abortion and get a new job so she doesn't have to come see my ugly ass every day. Well, Mary Beth can carry the baby to term. But see, if she carries the baby to term, that's her proof that I raped her. Because that entire situation, what Mary Beth could have just told me from the jump was that Mary Beth was a lesbian and she had a girlfriend. That could have saved Mary Beth a lot of fucking problems. But see, a man with an ego problem probably would still try to fuck Mary Beth even though she's a lesbian. Because that's what we do as men. We don't remember that women are not sex objects. We don't remember that women are human beings. We don't remember that we came out of a woman and we need to treat them with respect. Because if you don't want somebody calling your mama a bitch, you don't want nobody raping your mama. You don't want nobody making your mama carry a rape baby to term. You should probably take that shit into consideration before you vote. Hey, let's get rid of women's rights to choose. So let's rewind. Everybody's still on your knee. Your mama chose to have you because she chose to have sex with your father. Unless your father is the rapist. You see where we're going? See, anytime you reach the age of consent, and most kids probably have sex before they even hit the age of consent, because I know when I lost my virginity, I was 10 years old. The girl was 12 years old. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I didn't really consent to it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. She taught me what I was doing, and I thought she broke my dick because it never stopped getting hard after that. This conversation might be a little bit too rough for you to handle, but there it is. I was 10, she was 12. She knew what she was doing. I don't know what a 12-year-old knows about sex. But I knew when I was 12, I knew how my dick worked by then. Because sex education is a thing. So you have to remember how these things work. I didn't know about consent because I was 10. I guess she didn't know about consent, but she knew how to make my dick work because I didn't. But she was also 12. Somebody did something to her. She was just fast. One of the two. She was black. I'm mixed. Didn't know shit. I knew that after we had sex, my dick didn't stop getting hard. So that's how that worked. But when you get older, you hit 13, 14, you start seeing girls in a different light. You know, because most 13 and 14-year-old girls start developing boobs and stuff. So, you know, they start smelling a lot better because they done got into all kinds of hygiene stuff and they're getting better looking. They start wearing makeup and all the other shit. It really doesn't really matter to us men, except for it matters to the women that they feel good, they look good, and then they allow us to chase them. You heard that word? They allow us to chase them. And if they're interested, they will consent to us kissing, touching, heavy patting, you know, the things that they don't teach the guys when we're in sex ed class. Because the only thing they teach you in sex ed class as a guy that I remember, blood goes to the head of your dick, fills up, your shit stands up until it's released. And by it being released, it means once you come, bust a nut, climax, whatever the hell you want to call it, the shit goes back to normal. And it shrinks back down to the actual size that it is before you get aroused. There's your sex education for you. Women have to go through so much more. They gotta learn about fallopian tubes. They gotta learn about uterus. They gotta learn that they have a cycle of when their nether regions bleed every yay so many days. They say 28, and I'm like, so they get 1 week of vagina cleansing or their period or whatever. I don't know how to word it. I'm a man. Forgive me if I've offended anybody. But they get that. We aren't taught that as men. We are taught what we need to do when this thing here stands in attention. Now we have to convince a woman to let us park our car into her garage. Make some noise, white stuff pops out, she gets pregnant. And the first thing boys do, bitch ain't mine. Bitch stinks. Bitch been cheating on me. And what happened to, she want a bitch when she consented to you parking your car into her garage, pumping a couple of times, making her scream, and then pulling out and leaving behind your semen because you were too stupid to use a condom. Now she's about to have birth. You guys have been fighting for months and months and months. She didn't want the baby. You didn't want the baby. Neither one of you could afford an abortion. And boom, now there's a baby here. Her and her family argue about putting the baby up for adoption because she's 17. She has no business having a child. You and your family mad as hell because now you gotta pay child support. And you just threw your whole future away. And by the way, you were like one heartbeat away from either getting hockey, football, baseball, whatever sport you like. You were a heartbeat away from being drafted into that. And now you gotta give everything because you brought a life into this world that you wasn't ready for. But yet y'all still want to be pro-lifers because this happens every day. You know. Now let's go to the nasty scenario. Let's go back to the cubicle 12 girl that I'm chasing that was a lesbian that I done raped and got her impregnated. Now I'm going to jail. Once that baby's born, they test that DNA. She's just been buying her time. We get in a courtroom, in the court system, they pull up the DNA. It's like, well, Echo, that's your child. She didn't consent to having sex with you. Her story is true. And then they pull that bingo bango evidence that my dumb ass in cubicle 8 forgot about. Security cameras, cell phone footage, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Look at this shit. World star, all over the place. Evidence that will convict me for the rest of my life. And if the judge has lenience and gives me 5 years probation, slap on the wrist, and I'm not a sex offender, that gives me the chance to go and be with my child if they allow me. But I get to rape her partner, who just had a baby, because she quit the job. But I have access to her address because I work in the same building, and one night I decided to work late. So I decided to find out where she lives, and I decided I'm going to go get that other girl just as much as I got this one. And what can they do? Because I got a slap on the wrist for sexual assault and a baby that I brought into this world that this woman had to carry for 9 months because she couldn't afford to get an abortion. Baby's healthy. It's a girl. Guess what? Sins of the father. 20 years from that day, some other little jackass rapes my daughter. She comes to visit me in prison if I've gone to prison for raping her mom's wife. So now I'm in prison. She comes to tell me, I hope you're happy because I'm pregnant. The same way you brought me into this world, somebody did that shit to me. And now I have a sense of humanity because I'm behind bars for bringing her into this world and her little sister, which this time the judge made it stick. So now, my daughter, a rape baby, is now pregnant with a rape baby. My daughter's not that pregnant, and she's not stupid. She decides to get an abortion instead of carrying at the term because the person that raped her was my brother. Didn't see that coming, did you? But that's how that shit happens. I'm a fairly decent actor. I just gave you the most impossible fucking scenario. Why is it impossible? Because every man who has a dick does not believe that that shit can happen. I could have changed the ages. What if my daughter wasn't a rape baby? What if she was my baby that me and my wife had because we consented to it? And my daughter is 11 years old. And my wife and I are out of town working on a movie. Or if I'm blessed enough to have become my wife, she's off somewhere gallivanting, doing a wrestling show. Daughter's at home. Not with her mother or her father. My daddies are dead. My mom's old. She's with somebody that neither one of us are kin to. But they're a family friend that's as close to a family as can be. And they take my daughter's virginity at 8 years old. I don't know because I'm not in town. I trusted my child with this person. My wife trusted our child with this person. This person's been tagging our daughter every time we go out of town. Now, see, I could flip that script and make it a son who gets his rapist pregnant. You know, like the school teachers that rape the kids. Now, you tell me, am I wrong for being pro-choice? Because I just gave you enough scenarios that you can shake a cow at. You can pick a cow up and shake that son bitch out. But see, I don't support abortion as a means of birth control. Because if you're getting abortion every time you get pregnant, then stop getting pregnant. You know, they make condoms for a fucking reason. Use them. If you're allergic to condoms, find another contraceptive. You don't have to keep getting pregnant every time you ride a dick. But for me, it's always the woman's choice. Because if I'm taking her to dinner or to a movie, and I'm thinking I'm getting some tonight, and she decides, no, you're not. I can't get mad. I'm gonna be mad, but what the fuck can I do? It's her body. It's her choice. And, again, your parent made the choice to sleep with your other parent, which got you here. But what if you didn't get that chance? What if your parent didn't have a choice? What if your parent was a great little schoolgirl just walking home and some asshole decides, she looks good. I'm going to take that ass. And now she's pregnant. What about that? See, y'all don't have uteruses. Y'all don't care about shit like that because y'all don't believe that shit can happen. And here's what I say to y'all who don't believe that shit can happen. Google's your friend. Read a fucking book. It has happened in a lot of third world countries. I can drop some shit from when Ann Curry used to work for Dateline. When she went to third world countries where they had grown-ass American men going to places like the Philippines, Cambodia, for sexual experiences with girls who barely had breast. And in some of these places, Ann Curry took places, motherfuckers was married to these young-ass girls. Married to a fucking child. And got a guy my age married to a 12-year-old. Then you tell me how the fuck that makes sense. 12-year-old got 2 kids by this motherfucker that's 48. She's 12. She's barely got any boobs at all. He had sex with her. But because she's a whatever citizen of whatever country and he married her over there, it's legal. He may never be able to step into the States with his wife. But from where he is, he can have sex with a 12-year-old. He bought her, made her his wife, and then had babies. I want to thank Ann Curry for exposing that shit. But here's the thing. This is about Roe v. Wade. This is why Roe v. Wade is important. You're taking away the rights of grown women, which means you're taking away the rights of little girls who may not get to become grown women because some psychopathic sick son of a bitch from down the street decides that they want to take your daughter's innocence. Your daughter's 8. And you think this shit is okay? Better think about that shit. Better get your asses out there and vote. Because I'm going to close out with this. See, the people who are going to vote to overturn Roe v. Wade, they don't care about their daughters. They probably don't have any. But this is what's going to bring Roe v. Wade back. I almost guarantee it. See, all the people who's voting for it to be turned over, all of them that are voting for it to be overturned and all that shit, and pro-life this and pro-life that, the second that one of their daughters gets raped by any living man, no matter what the race, if that girl is 8 to 24, and she did not consent to this shit, those same motherfuckers that's so adamant about pro-life, we ain't gonna give up this, we ain't gonna give it that. When their 8-year-old daughter gets raped by her preacher, by her uncle, by even her own father, y'all will be the first motherfuckers running back to flip that goddamn bill back over. So your 8-year-old daughter, your 10-year-old daughter, your 14-year-old daughter's life isn't fucking ruined because y'all decided that women don't have a choice. Keep that in mind. Thank you for watching. If I've offended anybody with this move, I'm sorry. But I'm not really sorry because women's choices matter. None of us would be here without them. Think that shit over. Be seeing you. I'm Echo Frank Grey Wolf.